Alright folks, I'm going to show you a quick wrinkle into how you can simplify the values in the image. Here I've got a black and white photograph. It's already pretty high contrast, but if I choose Posterize, it's going to give me a slider for the number of levels, and if we look closely you can see that's simplifying the number of levels in the image. So I think we want to go with something like 8 to 12. Now, with those levels selected, we can then use our magic wand to select maybe the darkest areas. I'm going to make sure contiguous is unchecked. If contiguous is checked and I click on a dark area, we'll only choose the darker areas that are touching. But if I deselect and choose the darkest area as well, then it's more likely to select all the dark areas, and I can use a new layer. We'll name it dots. We're still going to use a color overlay so that we can see what we're painting. Now when I use my brush tool, let's look at my brush. I have a few different brush tips that I've made for this. I have one that scatters this, so I could then zoom in and make sure I'm filling that area in relatively solid. So this is going to be the darkest area. There's also another brush that I made that scatters a lot more quickly. It has, instead of a single dot, it has multiple dots. Still just using scattering and spacing. I want this to be pretty dense. So I'll make some adjustments here. Alright. Oh, that's a little too big though. That's more like it. That's covering a lot of ground really quickly, and that's kind of what I need to have for the darkest areas anyway. Give that a quick pass. Zoom out. Alright. Okay, so I can adjust my spacing. Press W for the magic wand tool, select the next area, B for brush, and I'm adding a lot more space, so this is going to be a lot less dense as I color it in. Maybe I want to have not that much spacing. Okay, so then W, I'll click the next kind of gray area that's surrounding the image. My brush, just add a little space each time so it gets less dense. So let's check our work. Okay, if I hide the image, hide the color effect, that's looking pretty convincing. And the dots are there. Okay, so if you struggle with being able to paint individually, I encourage you to give it a try using the magic wand and the posterize option, in addition to black and white and what was our other option? We had black and white and high contrast, right? Brightness and contrast. Well, posterize will help do that for you a little bit too. So again, smaller brushes. Alright, it does help if you paint in the direction that you're filling in. Alright, from there. Alright, so that's a pretty decent way of getting your values laid down. So remember to look at between 8 and 10 in the posterized layer, adjustment layer.